Brown and Uncle Jimmy Maynard and Grandfather Benny used to play the accordion, but and I started learning off them, watching them, and I did heaps of them. A lot of people down there singing and playing music, like, you know. It was full of music.
Ronnie used to go to watch Ronnie and Dorothy rock and roll, and he was certainly one of the best rock and rollers I ever seen. And you notice every time we introduce him on the stage, I always sing out and say, "Please welcome the old black rocker." that's where I actually got the name for him from, because he was such a wonderful dancer. And then of course when I heard him sing and playing the guitar, I thought, I want to do that one day, play the guitar. I just used to love going dance and watching him dance, and some of the steps he used to do on that dance floor, I tell you what, if you could do them now, I think you'd scare us all.
Waltz,
Watch them.
barn dance, square dance.
The square dance, yeah. Fox, what was the foxtrot? Was it?
They used to do.
What's the fox?
Got a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, that's the one I used to do, progressive barn dance, or tried to. I thought I was wonderful at it, but I never had anyone come up to brag about me. But I just enjoyed it. Yeah. I mean, when I was about 12, I think 13, when I started going to the dance, I'd get up and I'd try to waltz. But I don't think I was real good at it. No one's actually looked, I don't know really anyone looked at me or not, but I tried to dance. But some people came from the end of the island, right into Whitemark. The dancer was long past which was in. Yeah, so, you know, they travelled from all over the island just to come to that'd be a packed hall.
I didn't grow up on Cape Barren Island. My mother didn't until she was, I don't know, just before she became a teenager. Mum's family left in the early 1940s. She often spoke about the dancers in the hall and the dancers at the Muttonbird Islands. But growing up here on Flinders Island, we didn't see those dancers in the halls. What we saw was, when the Brown boys would come to visit, what we saw was the kitchen table would be moved up against the wall, the chairs and stools would be pushed aside, and our kitchen became the dance floor. And that's where it happened. People like Mum, my mother's sister Aunty Ella, your grandmother Aunty Una, your mother Connie, gosh, I can't remember who else, Lois Farley, Vicky. Yep. Vicky was only young like me. We'd get in there and try to have a go, you know. We always had to just pull our dresses up like this, but we were never allowed to show too much, just a little bit, you know, to dance. And so all of that sort of stuff. So let me tell you, a lot of parties happened at our house every weekend. We probably had more parties on the island than anybody else. But they were good times. My mother was a West and she married a Shaw, and my mother's mother was a Brown. So the Brown boys were my mother's first cousins. So that's where the connection came in, because Granny's brother, Uncle Donald Brown, he married Aunty Louie. He was the father of Les and Dennis and Norman and Ethel. So they spent a lot of time at home when they lived here on Flinders Island. They lived down the bottom of Pickford Hill and we lived down the bottom of Emita Hill. So it was just up over the hill and around the bend a bit. And we used to come together all the time, you know, and Les was there. And even with the table, if they were playing on a weekend and Mum was dishing out our tea for us, all these kids lined up around the table, this big oblong table and big long stools on each side, and Mum would slice the bread and, she'd be sort of dancing and shuffling the slices of bread like this around the table. It was just a part of life. I don't think with the people that came to our house, it wasn't just confined to Aboriginal people, because people like the Wheatleys from up north, who lived with the Aboriginal people for a long, long, long time, they were there. And then the Rileys got involved too. So there was the Rileys there involved, probably not as much at our house, but certainly at their house at Riley Town. It just happened. It was just something that happened after mutton birding. But when Teresa's mum was with us and the Brown Boys were playing, or there was a party on and there was that sort of music, it was all about the island dancing. But when they got to the hall, it became something very different because then it was rock and roll.